and she's making sure she's finding those open players. She had some amazing assists tonight.
Points, 7 assists here so far. Clark crossing over and dropping a three.
Did you see what A'ja Wilson just said about CaitlincLark? The WNBA drama is heating up, and it's all about who deserves to be MVP. But there's more to this story than just stats. Let's get into the real reason Wilson is so fired up. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now back to the video. A'ja Wilson, the Las Vegas Aces superstar, is fuming. She can't believe CaitlincLark is even in the MVP conversation. Wilson's face is red, her voice is shaking, and she's not holding back. It's like watching a volcano erupt on live TV. So who are these two? Wilson's been dominating the league for years, while Clark is the rookie sensation everyone's talking about. Clark's putting up crazy numbers, averaging 16.3 points and leading the league in assists with 6.2 per game. That's insane for a first-year player. But this isn't just about basketball. There's something bigger going on here. Is it about respect, money, or maybe race? You know what's crazier? A'ja's reaction might be opening up a whole can of worms the WNBA wasn't ready for. But wait, why is A'ja so mad? Let's break down what's really happening here. Picture this: a packed arena, millions watching at home, and a 22-year-old at the center of it all. CaitlincLark isn't just playing basketball, she's changing the game. But here's the real question: is the WNBA ready for what comes next? Let's talk about CaitlincLark's latest game. She dropped 40 points, dished out 10 assists, and grabbed 7 rebounds. That's not just good, that's MVP level stuff right there. And it's not a one-time thing. Clark's been lighting up the scoreboard all season. But here's where it gets wild. Before Clark showed up, the Indiana Fever were struggling to fill seats. We're talking an average of 1,800 fans per game. Now, they're packing in 17,000 people. That's not just an improvement, that's a revolution. Remember last season when the Fever were at the bottom of the league with a 13-27 record? Well, guess what? They're now 18-16 and fighting for a playoff spot. One player made that difference. It's like Clark waved a magic wand and suddenly the Fever are contenders. And it's not just about the wins. Clark's games are must-see TV. Their recent matchup pulled in 2.2 million viewers. That's huge for the WNBA. In fact, 16 of the 18 most watched games this season had Clark on the court. She's not just a player, she's become appointment viewing. But Clark's impact goes beyond the numbers. She's changing how the game is played. Imagine this: she's nailing shots from 30 to 34 feet out. That's way beyond the three-point line, and she's hitting 37% of them. That's forcing other teams to completely rethink their defense. It's not just about her scoring, though. Clark's got eyes in the back of her head, finding teammates for easy buckets. She's leading the league in assists as a rookie. That's unheard of. Here's something crazy. Clark's games are sometimes pulling in more viewers than some NBA matchups. Think about that for a second. A rookie in the WNBA is outshining established NBA stars in the ratings game. But it's more than just basketball. Clark's become a cultural icon. She's not just changing the game, she's changing how people see the WNBA. More fans, more media coverage, more excitement. It's like she flipped a switch and suddenly everyone's paying attention. As Clark changes the game, another player's anger is boiling over. A'ja Wilson's not just mad about MVP votes, there's a bigger issue here, and it's shaking up the WNBA. Let's talk about A'ja Wilson for a second. She's been dominating the court with 27.9 points and 11.3 rebounds per game. That's not just good, that's MVP level performance right there. Wilson's been the front runner for the award all season, and on paper, she's got every right to be confident. But here's where things get wild. Wilson's not just upset about Caitlinclark's stats, she's fired up about something else entirely. It's like watching a pressure cooker about to explode, and the WNBA might not be ready for what comes next. You know what's really getting under Wilson's skin? It's all the attention Clark's getting, the marketing, the media coverage, the packed arenas. Wilson's been in the league for years, putting up insane numbers, but she's never seen this kind of buzz. And here's where it gets tricky. Wilson's frustration isn't just about personal achievement, it's opening up a whole can of worms about race in sports promotion. Think about it. Who gets the spotlight in women's basketball? Who becomes the face of the league? These are tough questions, and Wilson's not afraid to ask them. Wilson's basically saying, hey, I've been here, doing this for years, where's my recognition? It's not just about the MVP trophy, it's about feeling valued, about getting your due. And when you're at the top of your game, watching someone else get all the attention, that's gotta sting. But here's the thing, Wilson's outburst isn't just about her. It's shining a light on bigger issues in the WNBA. Who gets promoted? Who becomes a star? And why? These are questions the league's gonna have to answer, and fast. And it's not just about Wilson and Clark. This whole situation is making other players speak up too. Everyone's talking about equity, about fair treatment, about who gets to be the face of women's basketball. You know what's crazy? This rivalry might actually be good for the WNBA. More people are talking about the league than ever before. Fans are picking sides, debates are heating up, and suddenly, women's basketball is front-page news. But at what cost? Wilson's frustration is real, and it's touching on issues that go way beyond the basketball court. It's about representation, about recognition, about feeling valued in a league you've given everything to. So we've got two amazing players, both putting up MVP numbers. We've got a rookie sensation changing the game, and a veteran superstar feeling overlooked. We've got racial dynamics, marketing strategies, and league policies all under the microscope. And you'd think all this tension would tear the league apart. But what if it's doing the opposite? This Wilson-Clark rivalry isn't just changing how we see these two players. It's transforming the entire WNBA landscape. And you won't believe who's really winning in all of this. Let's talk about the showdowns everyone's waiting for. Wilson versus Clark on the court. It's like watching two superpowers collide. These games aren't just regular season matchups anymore. They're the new Super Bowl of women's basketball. Every time Wilson and Clark face off, it's not just about who scores more points. It's about who's going to take that MVP trophy home. The stats are crazy, the highlights are insane, and the fans, they're going wild. But here's the thing. This rivalry is doing something even bigger. It's making people talk about the WNBA like never before. Suddenly, everyone's got an opinion on how the league should market its stars. Should they focus on the new hotshot rookie or the proven champion? It's not an easy question to answer. And it's not just about Wilson and Clark anymore. Other players are speaking up too. They're asking tough questions about who gets the spotlight and why. It's like the whole league is having this big conversation about fairness and recognition. You know what's wild? All this drama might actually be good for the WNBA. More people are tuning in to watch games. Social media is buzzing with debates about who's the real MVP. Fans are picking sides, making memes, and getting super invested in women's basketball. The league's seeing higher viewership numbers than ever before. It's not just die-hard fans anymore. Casual sports watchers are starting to pay attention too. And that's huge for women's basketball. Think about it. More eyes on the game means more sponsorship deals. More sponsorship deals mean more money for the league and the players. It's like this rivalry is giving the whole WNBA a boost. But it's not all smooth sailing. The league's got to figure out how to handle this new attention. They need to find a way to celebrate new stars like Clark without forgetting about the veterans who've been carrying the league for years. It's a tricky balance, but it could take women's basketball to a whole new level. And here's the craziest part. This rivalry might be changing how we see women's sports in general. It's not just about basketball anymore. It's about showing the world that women athletes can bring the same excitement, skill, and drama as any men's league. So here's the deal with this whole Wilson-Clark situation. It's not just about who's the MVP, it's about how the WNBA grows and who gets the spotlight. The league's got a tricky job, They need to hype up new stars like Clark without forgetting about the players who've been killing it for years. Imagine if the WNBA could market both Wilson and Clark as superstars, show off Clark's crazy three-pointers and Wilson's unstoppable post moves. Use their rivalry to get more fans excited about women's basketball. It's like having two secret weapons instead of just one. But here's the real question. How do we, as fans, celebrate new stars like Clark while also giving props to the players who've been holding it down? It's not easy, but finding that balance could take the WNBA to a whole new level.